morning, and thank you for joining our 7 a.m. Morning devotional, online devotional. Before we get started, I want you to like this video, share this video, tag a few people, because we want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to hear this word. Y'all, this devotional is going to be amazing. Declutter Now. I mean, this is going to be so good. We've already started out talking about what are the treasures of our hearts, trying to figure all of that out, and let's see where our hearts really lie. How now, once we figure that out, how do we manage that clutter, the project management of it all? But today, day 4, this is our 4th day in the month of June. Day 4 is keeping the clutter at bay. So I have, try to figure out what the treasures are, what things am I holding important, and then I find out that a lot of those treasures are things that I don't need to hold on to, and I shouldn't have. I've misplaced those things. I've misplaced and put those things in my heart that really shouldn't be in my heart. And then once I figure that out, what do I do? How do I manage it? How do I manage that project to get all of that stuff out that should not be there? But then now today, we're going to talk about once I've cleaned it out, how do I keep it at bay? How do I keep that thing from coming back? The writer of this devotional gave an amazing analogy about your spiritual closet in relation to your natural closet, and how you clean out your natural closet, and then all of a sudden we start going back saying, oh, this is on sale, so I'm going to get 3 of them because they're only $10.99. And then I'm going to get, next thing you have, brought all of that stuff back in. So how are we going to make sure that we are keeping that clutter at bay and managing the clutter, not allowing those things to come back in? So, once you've decluttered, how are we preventing the clutter from coming back? So first, we have to look at what caused the issue, in the first place. Why are we, getting and cramming all of that junk and all of that stuff? You look at your natural closet. Is it because we have a shopping habit? Is it because we're depressed? Is it because we're frustrated or aggravated? Is it because we're keeping up with the Joneses? What's the issue that's causing us to consistently bring that same thing back in and start all over again? I tell people, I know one of the things I have to really fight is I'm an emotional eater. When I get frustrated or aggravated, I want to eat. So we got to see what is the root cause of what's really happening in our lives. We think about our closets, stuff to capacity. Why did we buy all that stuff? Do we really need that stuff? Is it things because, when we start cleaning out our closet, we find things with tags on it that may have been there for months, years, that we never worn. We bought it because it was on sale. It was cheap. It was cute. We thought we were going to wear it. We said, it may be small, but we'll fit back into whatever the issues are. Why are we doing that? Why are we allowing things to come into our lives? You think about, and you look at our hearts. Why are we allowing malice and frustration and aggravation and all of those things to come in? What's causing that? What is the root cause to why we're allowing those things to come in? Material things, if you think about it and you look at your natural closet, material things, they don't bring any real satisfaction, from any of the things that's weighing us down. So if you really, really think about it, if we really look at the things we do in the natural, like say for instance, if it's drugs, if it's emotional eating, okay, if I get frustrated or aggravated, I go have an amazing meal. I feel so good in that moment of eating that meal, and I feel so good a little bit after that meal. But once that meal has digested, the issue, the problem, whatever is still there. If I've gotten high, if I drink drink alcohol and I lay down, I go to sleep, when I wake up, the problem is still there. So trying to do those natural, carnal, material type things, they don't help at all. They really just mask over the pain or the frustration or the aggravation of what's going on in your life. So We have to look at this thing spiritually. What things have we picked up? Again, I said like malice, envy, strife, jealousy, fornication, adultery, all of those things, overeating, overspending, lack of financial discipline, all of those things, why do we pick those things up? What caused us to purchase those things? You look at it in the natural, what caused us to purchase all those clothes or shoes or whatever, handbags or whatever we have, hats or coats or suits or whatever. What caused us to purchase that stuff? Well, same thing. Let's look at it spiritually. What caused us to purchase, meaning we chose to accept all of these things that are going on in our life? Did someone betray us? And we spent years plotting on how to get them back. Are we putting ourselves in situations at work with coworkers that are inappropriate? Flirting. Work husbands, work wives, all of those type things that are causing issues and things in our lives. Are we dissatisfied with our financial choices, and now we're mad because other people seem to be doing better? Have we told somebody because of something they did or didn't do for us? You say you spend your whole life saying, I'm gonna show them that I'm gonna be the best. I'm going to show them that I'm going to do better. I'm going to show them that I'm going to be the best at, this particular thing, and spend all of our lives trying to prove something to somebody who probably really don't even care, or who's not even thinking about us even in that way. Just think about the different things that we have allowed to come into our lives. We have to literally get to the root of why we've allowed that certain things to clutter up our lives. And once we identify that reason, we have to fix it, or we have to address it. Because here's the thing, the worst thing in the world that we could ever do is lie to ourselves. Why do we lie to ourselves? Because ourselves know we're lying. It doesn't make sense to lie to somebody who already know you're lying. I don't know if that just makes us feel better or whatever, but if nobody else knows that you're lying, yourself knows that you're lying. And we shouldn't lie to ourselves and say, I'm fine, it didn't bother me, it's okay. No. If there's an issue, if there's a problem, we've got to get to the root of the problem. Meaning, if there is something that someone said that hurt us, we've got to go to that person. We've got to work through that. If we can't work through it, we need to bring in some mediation. If that's not an option, we've got to figure out a way to forgive that person and move forward, because it's only hindering and hurting us when we're holding on to all of that stuff. You think about all of the strife and all of the issues and all of the stuff that's going on. You have to stop and say, wait a minute. Am I the common denominator? Am I the reason? Why did this happen? You think about work. I remember literally when, if you think about, I remember when I first got my job, my very first job, when I got out of college. And so I was a pop offer, and granted, people did say things to me, and they did, trip about, say little snide remarks and different things, but I was a pop offer. And I was going to pop off. And so once I realized that's where they were, I came in and I just pop off first. Let me go on, get you told and sit you on down so you can stay out of my business, and I don't even have to deal with you for the rest of the day. Well, that's not the right place to be, and that's not the right thing to do, because now I've caused, when I come in and I act like that, then they're already on the defensive. And so a lot of the strife and the back and forth, some of it was my fault. And I have to see my fault in certain things. I have to see where I may not be doing, because here's the thing, the only person that we have control of and the only person that we can manage is ourselves. We can't manage everybody else. So what am I doing to manage me? What am I doing to make sure that I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do? You think about it, you get mad, and while we're talking about work, you get mad because you didn't get the promotion at work, and you're saying they just don't like me, they just they just mistreat me, or it's because I'm a certain color, or it's because I'm a woman, or it's because of this, or it's because of that, as opposed to saying, okay, you know what, okay, I know I was literally late. every day for 6 months. But we give ourselves grace. Well, I was late, but okay. No, it's not okay. They're not going to want to promote someone who's not coming to work on time. You think about, like I said, popping off on your coworkers. There's some people just be popping off just to be popping off. Okay, well, they're not going to want to promote you in that position because you can't be a leader and you don't know how to adjust and how to get along and figure out how to work with everybody. You were late on a couple of projects. That's why they didn't promote you, because you haven't shown yourself to be faithful with the few things that we've given you and to turn in and to be on time. So, we have to stop and say, hey, what is happening in this moment that I may be at some fault for that thing? You know what I'm saying? Now, there are times, don't get me wrong, that people just mistreat people for no reason. People come in, they try to do what they do. And in that moment, that's when we sit back and we have to believe that God is our defense. He said vengeance is his. He said that he will protect us. He said he will be Jehovah Nissi, to go before us, to make our crooked way straight, our high places brought low. So even in that moment, we're not obligated to have to jump in and defend ourselves. God's going to do that. But here's the problem. When we jump in and we try to fix it and we try to defend ourselves and do it our way, then Holy Spirit says, oh, okay, well then you got it, sis. You got it, brother. Go on. Have at it. And he's going to let us do how we do. And then we're going to forfeit all of the divine intervention and the favor and all of those things that are going on in our lives. We can be, we have to be honest with ourselves. I think that is the biggest thing, because until you can be honest with yourself, ourselves, we can't fix the problem. I think about like when you do NA and AA and those type of meetings. One of the things they say, you have to stand up and say, my name is, and I'm an alcoholic, or I abuse drugs, or whatever, so that you can confront the truth. Here's the truth. Okay, this is what I do. I did this. Now, how can we start fixing these things? How can we start? But if we never say that it's a problem or we have any issues, then we're never going to fix things. We're never going to do the things that we need to do. Because we're going to always believe that it's someone else's fault. We are a blaming society. If this person hadn't did this, it wouldn't be this. And if this person wouldn't have done that, I could have. No, we've got to take responsibility for our part and our actions in every situation, because if we don't, we're never going to fix the problem. So once we take responsibility, once we attack those things, once we change behaviors, once we work on and fix the problem, then that's when 2 Chronicles 7:14 just explodes in our lives. It says, then if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and restore their land. So God says, listen, once you, my people, humble down and say, you know what? I didn't do that quite right. You know what? This was my part in that. He says, then, once you humble down, once we humble down, once we seek his face, once we seek, and the seeking is figuring out, God, how do I fix this problem? How do I address these issues that I'm having, and seek his face, and then turn and say, you know what? Okay, this was the reason why this particular thing happened in this relationship or on my job or in any instance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do the thing different that God told me to do in order to maintain this relationship, or in order to never be here again, or in order to never go through this situation again. Because sometimes we have to stop and we have to ask ourselves, is it everybody else, or could it be me? Oh, that's hard for a lot of people. It's hard because it's easier to say it's everybody else. But let me tell y'all something. My mama told me, I love my mom. I come from a family of brutally honest people. They're just brutally honest. And I remember my mom told me I was young. I was like a little girl. And I was saying, this person don't like me, and this teacher don't like me, and this person don't like me. She said, hold on a minute. She said, you know what? She said, it ain't everybody. She said, it ain't everybody. She said, all those people don't like you or do this. All those people. She said, it's got to be something you doing. It's got to be something you're doing. She said, 1 or 2 people, yeah. She said, I'll give you 3 or 4. She said, but this, you done named like 10 people. You got to really think about it. If every situation, you're on your job, and these are not interconnected relationships. On your job, you having issues with your coworkers. In your home, you having issues with your family. With your friend group, you having issues with your friend group. Those aren't even in most cases aren't interconnected relationships. So because they're not telling each other, don't like her because no, there's a reason. And we have to stop and be so completely honest with ourselves about what that reason is. So God says, if I turn, then He's going to hear from heaven. He's going to forgive our sins and restore our land. So He's going to heal us, restore us back to the place we need to be. This passage of scripture is basically talking about Solomon completing the temple and God telling him that He has chosen that temple as a place to make sacrifices. God said at times there will be no rain, plagues, and a loss of crop. He says, so those things are going to happen. There are going to be times that we have issues. There are going to be times that we collide. There are going to be times that things happen. But what He said is, but if we realize, He said, but if we realize our wicked ways, go to the temple, humble ourselves, and pray. God said He will forgive their sins and restore their land. So He says, listen, stuff gonna happen. I get it. God ain't like, oh, you got to be so perfect, nothing happens. Stuff is going to happen. But He says what we have to do in that moment is we have to realize our part in it, our wrong part in it. He says, and then I go to the temple and I make those sacrifices, and He's going to forgive us. So I got to say, you know what? Okay, I'm wrong in this. Let me go to this person. Let me clearly, make this thing right. Or let me do this thing right. Let me go to my boss and I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I know I have not shown myself to be a faithful employee. I know I've been late. I know I've been popping off. But today I want to turn over a new leaf. And you're going to see something different. And show them something different. Show them something different. Give them, when you are passed over for the promotion the next time, or if you're passed over, then you can clearly say, hey, I did this. These are the things that I did. I changed. Why did I not get it? You see what I'm saying? So we got to be honest with ourselves so that we can fix the problem. So if we be honest about what causes all the clutter in our lives, change those behaviors, God is going to hear us. He's going to restore us. The next promotion could possibly be yours. The next amazing relationship will be great, simply because we've changed. Always be honest with yourselves. I keep saying that because it is just a detrimental thing when we lie to ourselves. Always be honest with ourselves. Seek out God's plan for your life and do what He says do. Change our behaviors. So let's take this month to declutter and live in freedom. So thank you for joining our 7 a.m. prayer call. I am so super excited. This is going to be good, y'all. I'm telling you, this devotional is going to be amazing. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like, you tag, and do all of those great things. And we will see you on tomorrow at 7 a.m. for day 5.